Well, hello, and welcome to Storytime with Mrs. Craig today. Today, instead of a story, thought that we could read some poems because poems are such fun to read. And when I was a little girl, poems were my favourite thing. I used to have books and books of poems and read them again and again and again. And we know that we don't just read something once, we read it many, many times. So today, I found a book from our classroom that I managed to bring home before lockdown. And you may recognise this book. It's called The Dreamcatcher. Unfortunately, it's looking a bit the worse for wear, isn't it? It looks like someone's not been reading it so carefully. So we've got to make sure that we always look after our books. So let's get started and let's dive into this book and read some poems together. The first one is actually called The Dreamcatcher. I made a dream catcher for my bed to catch the dreams that are in my head. And when there is nothing that I can do, I look inside for a dream or two. This dream I'll have for me, I say, and then I dream the day away. And we can see that the little girl has a dream catcher there and lots of interesting things in her dream. Okay, so this next one you've actually already heard, but as I say, it's always good to hear things again. And we ask the question, do fish sleep? See if you can follow the words as I read along, and I'll try and hold it so that you can see them. The fish that swim in the ocean deep, do they ever stop swimming and go to sleep? Do they find a rock and make their beds with pillows of seaweed for their heads? The fish that swim in the ocean deep, do they ever stop swimming and go to sleep? And we can see in the picture there, let's have a good close look, that someone's made that fish go to sleep, the illustrator, and he's even got a zzz coming out of his head as if he's sleeping. Right, I bet you've got a grandmother. Most people have a granny or a gran or a grandma. I'm actually called Nonny in our house. So my twin grandsons and my little other grandson Spencer, they call me Nonny. But in this poem, we've got a poem about a granny who's going to move in with this family, but something goes wrong. Granny. Granny came to our house with her poodle pups and her 20 kittens and fish in 50 cups. Granny came to our house with her plants in pots, and she filled up every room with lots and lots and lots. Granny came to our house, but we didn't like to fuss, so we had to go to Granny's house because there wasn't room for us. And you can see in the little picture down here that Granny, let me just get this organised, Granny has got her fish in teacups. Did you see that? That's a bit crazy, isn't it? Look how they're all precariously balanced up there. And there's even kittens in the light shade. So that family are looking rather frustrated as they pack their things and leave their house because Granny has overtaken the house. Now I know that there are some boys in our class particularly who like snakes, and this next poem is called Snakeskin. Snake said, oh, it's got speech marks and ellipses. See if you can see the speech marks, the 66 and the 99 that we've been learning about. Snake's skin. Snake said, I don't feel right. The skin I'm in is far too tight. The skin I'm in, it doesn't fit. I think I'll wriggle out of it. Snake said, if you don't mind the skin I'm in, I'll leave behind the skin I'm in. It doesn't fit. And so he wriggled out of it. And we know that there are lots of living creatures who grow out of their skins and shed their skins. Can you think of any other creatures that you know that shed their skins as they get too big for them? And I know cicadas is one of them, and you often see cicada shells on a tree empty because the cicada has grown out of its skin. Uh-oh, this is something that Mrs. Craig always fears is that there's going to be a creature in my shoe when I put it on. Because when I was a little girl, we lived in a big house that had a basement, and our gumboots used to sit in the basement, and sometimes wetters would crawl into our gumboots. So I would always take my gumboots and shake them upside down to get rid of any creatures before I put them in. This poem is called What's in My Shoe? I put on my shoe, but it didn't feel right. My toe got tickled and my shoe was tight. I took off my shoe and I looked inside. A big black spider was trying to hide. I said to the spider, how are you? What are you doing in my shoe? I said to the spider, you can't stay. I have to wear my shoe today. That was a funny one. And the next one is about a stripy animal. You got it? It's about a tiger. Let's see what the Tiger Teeth poem says. Are you ready to watch those words? The tiger's teeth were dirty and sore, so he went and knocked on the dentist's door. Dentist, dentist, let me in, the tiger said with a tiger grin. But the dentist said, no, go away. I'm not cleaning tiger teeth today. I don't think that the dentist would actually want to delve into the mouth of that cheeky tiger. I agree, dentist, send him away. Rooster's cold, and we know that it's winter at the moment and that some of us have got cold. So let's see what happens when a rooster gets a cold. Watching the words with me, and off we go. Rooster's cold. Rooster got a cold in his rooster's head, and he couldn't crow. Get out of bed. So the sun came up and the sun went down, and nobody woke in town. Rooster got a cold in his rooster head, and everyone stayed at home in bed. So because that cheeky rooster didn't crow, nobody got out of their bed. Did you see the weather vane that he is standing on that shows the direction of the wind? That would be funny if we saw a rooster with a tissue on the top of a house. And we're going to finish our poem reading today with one of my favourite ones called Rufus McBrown. Okay, see if you can follow those words along with me. He's a bit of a cheeky character. Let's see if we can get them all on the page. Rufus McBrown was a sight to see. He wore old jeans with a hole in the knee. He wore green shoes with red laces and a pom-pom hat and pink braces. He hopped and bopped all over the town, and everyone said, that's Rufus McBrown. Let's see if you can have a good look at Rufus McBrown. Can you see his pink laces, his green shoe, his pink braces and his green shoes, his pom-pom on his hat? He does look a character, doesn't he? And everybody is staring at him. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to those poems, and don't forget to read some poems at your house. You can go online and find some poems. There's lots of poems for kids, or you could just listen to my poems. So that's all from me today. Haere rā, see you later.